Hello everyone and welcome to Eastside Cycling. Today I'm here in Redmond in front of Element Cycles and I have my Athos with me today. This is my summer climbing road bike and I'll be honest with you all, I have not ridden it through all the winter. This sort of stays in the stables and it comes out once the weather gets pretty good, and it's about that time of year to get your bike tuned up and everything to get ready for the summer riding season. So what we're going to do today is we'll go in and they're going to help me do a full pro tune of this bicycle, so you're going to see what that involves, and yeah, check out one of my favorite sort of cycling shops here on the east side. So let's go in and check it all out. Hey Ryan.
Hey Hanak, Eastside Cycling in the house.
Yeah.
Welcome to Element Cycles. We're here to get you, looks like a Pro Tune for today.
Yeah.
Let me get you checked in. You brought us the Specialized Athos. How's it riding for you?
Pretty good. Hasn't seen much since last summer, but last I rode it seemed okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it looks like it's still pretty well set up. Brakes maybe need a little bit of a bleed. I can see some handlebar alignment we'll work on. Of course, we'll pull everything off, get it cleaned up, open up that headset, and make sure that it's ready to ride for the spring and summer.
So this video is meant to be a pretty deep walkthrough of the whole process. So right away, Ryan just sort of has a quick look over the bike, just seeing where the current drivetrain components are at. And after this, basically starts the disassembly process. Almost everything is going to be coming off this bike. It can all be individually cleaned and serviced. So how long have you been working on bikes?
Probably about 10 years or so. I went to a kind of a technical school for bike maintenance. It's called UBI. I did that when I was kind of an enthusiast rider myself, and just wanted to take a little more responsibility for the bikes that I was riding.
Right.
And eventually it turned into, a job that I do every day.
So one thing that really surprised me, as this was my first ever Pro Tune, is really in terms of the time taken, a lot of it is in the disassembly and cleaning process. We sort of like to think sometimes that the bike just needs like a quick tune-up or something, but really this is going far beyond that, taking off every part, then surfacing or cleaning each one to just giving it sort of a new reset, making it feel pretty much like a new bike. But soon enough we get pretty much most of the parts off, minus the calipers and the hoods, and we are pretty much ready to move on to the next step.
Yeah, so as I'm cleaning, I'm also kind of inspecting your bike. Because I've got this rotating stand, I can see all angles of the bike. I can get into the down tube, the bottom bracket, the chain stays here. And this is where, we'll find the hidden cracks as we're cleaning. If there's been a rock impact to the down tube that you haven't noticed, or, a chainstay that has been compromised. It's really important that we start by cleaning, not just because you have a nice looking bike at the end of the day, but we do it so that we're confident that you're going to be safe on it when you go back on the road. All right, so now that we've got the bike kind of stripped and cleaned, now we'll start to look at the bearings that are sitting inside of the frame. So first we've got the bottom bracket, and what we're just going to check is the nature of the bearing, see if there's any play, see if they're rolling smooth. These bearings are radial in their orientation. They're designed, obviously not for lateral movement, but for this radial movement. And yours feel really good, nice and fluid, even a little syrupy. And then the next area where bearings live are in the headset here. And so my next job is to open up the headset and pick the bearings out of the head tube. That gives me a chance to hold them, feel the quality of them, and also clean and re-grease their surroundings. So we're going to let your cockpit and fork dangle for a minute here just on the hydro lines. You can start to see the headset bearing, the lower bearing here, and see all the dirt and grime that's there. That's natural. That's where all the road debris is firing up and hitting the bearing. So we're going to take that out, and we're going to clean off this bearing, along with the upper headset bearing that I've already pulled. So now we've got clean bearings here, and now we just want to feel whether or not these bearings are moving nicely. These bearings are reciprocating bearings, meaning they just move from left to right. They never sort of rotate all the way. So we just want to make sure that your steering won't be impeded by the quality of the bearing, and these feel great.
How often would you want to do something like this?
We do this with every ProTune. I try to do it, once a year, or encourage customers to do it once a year. The bearings should last a very long time if they're serviced and cleaned regularly. It's only when that road grime that we looked at or water starts to permeate these seals that the bearings start to break down. And so service really allows these things to extend their lifespan significantly. Now we've got your bearings cleaned, greased, and the headset kind of reassembled. It's time to tighten the headset here. This is an area where I see a lot of mistakes when customers are servicing or making adjustments at home. We have a top cap and a preload bolt here, and then we've got 2 pinch bolts that secure the stem. And the order of operations here is to work first with the top cap and tighten this down. And what this is doing is it's bringing compression across the stack onto the bearings. And so we want to tighten this as loose as it can be while it's still tight, if that makes sense. Because that's going to allow us to have that nice smooth steering. Once that compression is established, or that preload is established, then we tighten the pinch bolts down. And this is what secures all of that preload in place and the whole stack together. Now, once these pinch bolts are done, I can take this guy off. He no longer has a roll because all of the setting is held in by these pinch bolts. Of course, we want it there for looks, but if you've ever had a loose headset and you think, oh, I'm going to adjust it real quick or tighten it down, a lot of people will just go and hammer on this bolt here, and that's a big mistake because you're fighting against the force of these pinch bolts. Pinch bolts have to be released. Then we can add compression, and then we secure with the pinch bolts finally. Let's just get these rotors off. We can go ahead and measure the thickness of these. So yours are measuring to 1.74, and we've got a minimum width of 1.5 millimeters. At 1.5 millimeters, Shimano wants us to retire those rotors and get new ones. You can see that your rear is getting down to 1.59, 1.6. So the rear is going to be a little bit closer to replacement, but I think you're probably okay for the summer, and maybe when we service the bike in the fall, we'll look at the rotors one more time.
So at this stage of the tune, the bike has been stripped and cleaned, all the bearings and different things checked out very thoroughly, and then you'll see basically all the parts of my bike laid out. And this was my favorite part of the whole process, as this is when all of this stuff gets new life. We're just gonna take the cassette and drop it into the ultrasonic here, and we'll do the same with your chain. And then what's this green fluid?
It's a degreaser that has been heated now with the heating element, and it will we'll start the ultrasonic, and that will give a vibration to the parts and begin a deeper cleaning process. For the more industrial parts, when we really need to get deep grime and petroleum products off of the parts, like a chain ring, we'll use an industrial parts washer here. This will just cycle solvent, and I can just get in and brush away all of that dirt and grime in all the crevices. We do this on every Pro Tune. For those customers that are moving to wax from a bike that was lubed, this is essential. This allows us to strip down to the bare metal, the chain rings, the chain, the cassettes, and then we can build up a wax base that will enhance the ride quality for those customers that choose wax over petroleum. And we're done.
And the cleaning continues, even of my bottle cages, but even more impressively, Ryan took out the Q-tips and started to get into the nooks and crannies of all the different drivetrain components. It's a level way deeper than I would ever personally go myself, but it was really reassuring that knowing that he has really the experience and all the know-how to completely take apart everything, cleaning it along the way, and then putting it basically all back together, as we are looking here at the re-derailleur where he's just taking it apart, and just all those little cruft you usually get in jockey wheels sort of getting at it at a super clean angle with it all coming apart.
Here we are, we've got the derailleur cleaned up and serviced, and now it's time to put the pulley wheels back. There's an important thing here, which is each of these pulley wheels has an arrow that is directional. And so we need to make sure they're mounted in a manner where they will spin as they are expected to. So we'll put these guys together. The other thing you need to be mindful of is making sure that in some pulley wheels, the guide pulley is shaped differently than the tension pulley. So we need to make sure we look out for that as well. Okay, let's take a look at how the free hub's doing. We'll pull this end cap off. That's just based on friction. And then we can slide off the free hub. And you can see, it's definitely time to clean this out.
And it's really that same process where really no stone is left unturned. We're taking out everything, giving it all a really good clean, and then greasing back things that should be greased, and then putting it all back well together. So all of this really does a huge work in terms of keeping these components working for longer, probably saving you money in the long run, as well as keeping everything super safe and working. Because I actually had one of my free hubs fail not too long ago, not this one, another bike, but it just felt like my chain fell off and I couldn't ride. So I wish I did something like this sooner. And then Ryan helped to check that the rims were nice and true, and they were pretty much already good to go. All right, sticker pull time.
A few moments later.
Okay, so now we've got your drivetrain components, out of the cleaning solvents, and we're just going to take all these pieces out, and we will just finish cleaning this now with by hand, and ensuring that all of that residual dirt and lubricant comes off, and we get each piece to be absolutely sparkle bright, like it was when it came out of the packaging.
So now we are finally putting all the parts back together on the bike. Each thing doing it basically by the manual, and sort of checking everything along as we go.
So now we're going to check your derailleur hanger and ensure that the place on the bicycle, the derailleur hanger, where your derailleur is mounted, is sitting in a parallel plane to the wheel and the cassette body. And the way we do this is we use a manual gauge, a hanger alignment gauge, and what we're looking for is consistency as we go across all points of the clock, 12, 3, 6, and 9, to ensure that we're able to have the same distance. If we found ourselves with something that was far out, a big gap relative to where we started, we would then bend that derailleur hanger back into place. or ultimately replace the derailleur hanger. In your case, never crashed the bike, it looks like, because it is perfectly true.
And then as now all the pieces come together, it happens super quick. Sometimes you think that this is probably the longest part, like the tuning and the setting up the derailleurs and things, but it actually goes by the quickest by far in the process, as definitely Ryan's done many of these, and he's just going through, just sort of putting in all the inputs and getting ready for sort of the final work, which includes the brake bleeds, which was definitely one of the things I came here to do. It's definitely a lot easier bringing it to a bike shop for this particular work, just because there's a lot of extra sort of materials and tools that you need in particular. The actual process isn't super complicated, but given it's such a crucial function, it's sort of nice to sort of rely on their experience, as they can do it way better, way faster, and way more precise to match the specific specifications of your specific brakes.
Yeah, so we just pause and we think about what we've done. We've stripped everything, started cleaning the frame and inspecting it. We opened up the headset, cleaned, greased the bearings and inspected those bearings. We serviced the free hub on the wheels, cleaned all the drivetrain and reassembled that. And we've aligned the hanger and the front derailleur appropriately. So I think everything's pretty solid at this point. I just did kind of a final wipe down to make sure that the brake bleed didn't leave any oil in and around the calipers or the frame, just from my hands. So the last step really is to align the handlebars, because we have opened those up and played around with that. And then to do just final derailleur adjustments. There we go. We're making sure that the derailleur can't progress into the spokes.
Going through this process is really cool to see how methodical Ryan is to really basically restore this whole system to factory settings, following all the different specifications, recommendations, troubleshooting that they have. At the end of the day, really getting to exactly what a new bike should feel like.
So now we're going to do a final torque check across the bike. Even though we've been using torque and applying torque accurately as we've gone through, the last step we do as a professional mechanic is go through and make sure everything that needs to be secure is secured to spec. So we use a torque wrench where we can dial up the Newton meter adjustments, and we'll go and hit all of the critical interfaces. That way I know I'm giving you the bike back in a manner that's going to be maximum safety.
So after clicking and going and checking all those bolts, we apply a final set of lube, and that basically wraps up the whole Pro Tune. So here Ryan's gonna give me back my beloved Athos.
Here we are, back at the beginning. You saw what we put into the bike. We've been everywhere and left no stones unturned. I think it's ready for you to do your part.
Nice, yeah, so that was really amazing to see all the level of detail and care, and I'm so excited to test ride this. So let's go outside and see how this goes. I don't have my bike kit or anything, but you just get a sense of what it's like, and let's go. So the first thing I'm really noticing is just how much quieter my drivetrain is. I think it's like whisper quiet compared to maybe before, and yeah, it feels like new. So excited to take it on some real rides soon. And here's a really close look in terms of what it is now. This is a 3-year-old bike, but really with all the cleaning and everything, it looks brand new. I don't know how well this camera can show that, but yeah, definitely it just feels like a new bike. So at this point, I wanted to send it over to Nick Fisher, probably one of the main faces here at this shop, just to give you a bit more of an overview of all that really makes this place special, as I definitely recommend you check them out.
What's up? I'm Nick Fisher. I'm one of the owners here at Element Cycles. We are a shop with a long history down here in Redmond, but its most recent chapter is one of being a road and gravel shop owned by 4 mechanics who just love to share our passion of riding and keeping your machines finely tuned. I'd say that's probably the biggest differentiator of us from other shops, is that we approach everything with a real mechanic mindset. Not just in the service we recommend, but even in the bike we recommend you ride. If you're shopping for a bike, the gear you're considering riding with, even the nutrition that you want to bring on the road with you. It's definitely a mechanic mindset that brings maybe a little overthinking, but definitely a lot of methodology to every part of the bike experience. One of the most exciting parts of becoming owners of Element has been our efforts to grow our community support by way of bike rides. So every week we have a bunch of different group rides. We have some fast rides, we have some social rides, a little bit of something for everyone. Those rides are always available to look at on our Strava page, Element Cycle Strava page on Strava, and on our website too. We have weekly rides that are pretty much the same thing every week, but periodically we also partner with our vendors, our brand partners, to do kind of unique experience and destination events. We have an exciting one coming up next month with Panormal, which will be a weekend full of gravel bikes, road bikes, and cool experiences that you'll have to come and see to find out about. Yeah, so if you're a cyclist on the east side, please stop and check us out. Whether you need service, whether you're curious to see what we have, or you just want to poke your head in the door. We love to geek out about bike stuff, hear what you're into, and share our passion with you. So come on by, join a shop ride, see what we got to offer on the floor, or just come say hi.